everyone, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to turn 37, I believe, of Pokemon Gold, where we are playing Cyanwood City. Let's jump into the turn. So, these turns have been pretty massive. We're going to try to get through them pretty quick, but we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So, Cameron the Photographer has successfully empowered himself in Astral. No sites. Found a Tar Pits. That should be a Fire 1 site, so nice. Captured a Shiny Machamp. No sites. No sites. No slaves, no slaves. And then we got some battles. Okay, so we were attacked here in Berman Heights by Olivine City. It's just PD. We have taken control of Griffin Rock, and we met no resistance. We attacked in Wellrid, and we killed this Steelix champion. Let's go ahead and see who that was. So this is Robodan's force, right? Robodan's doing good over here. He's got his 16 magic resist. But we're going to watch this, and we're going to watch immediately. So we notice its name is the Cyst, and it's casting Iron Skin. Not Iron Will like it was. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so he casts Iron Skin. Robodan casts Iron Will. So Robodan is now up to... thought he was already at 16. Okay. So yeah, now we're up to 19. Okay. The other thing that we've noticed, right, is that the Cyst over here has cast Iron Skin, right? So his protection is +3 compared to what it was. So it's from 33 to 36. And he has cast Temper Flesh. So now he has blunt resistance. This is going to be very important. Okay. So we've got immediately the Cyst kind of gets surrounded, and we can see he just starts getting chunked, right? The Machamps hit so hard, strength 31, right? They're hitting for 31 base damage versus his 36, but this is armor piercing. Okay, so what happens is they deal damage first, right? So the damage hits, right? So if this is a 36. It rolls, right? But the armor piercing cuts half the armor, okay? So his armor goes from 36 to, what is that, 18, right? So my damage, if I hit, which is almost guaranteed because they have very bad defense, if I hit, I'm going to do a chunk of damage. But that damage after the protection, right, that damage is halved by the blunt resistance. So that's why we're seeing numbers like 4, 5s, 6s, etc. instead of chunky like 12, 14s, 15s. Now we occasionally see a double-digit number, right? But not super frequently. But you'll notice that the Machamps are still carving through the Cyst without too much trouble. Even after he has gone berserk, his protection is up to 37. He gets hit hard enough, frequently enough, that it's just not doing, okay? So he is gonna go down. Easy peasy. Fantastic. That is great. That is exactly how that is supposed to functionally work. Which is very different from what happened here, okay? So we attacked in Saffron City. We went up against 2 Steelixes, and you may notice that the sieging force has been beaten by our forces, but neither of them died. So what exactly happened? Let's watch the battle. And we're gonna kind of watch the battle, but it's a very long battle. So we have our mostly Machoke forces, right? And now the Machokes are very numerous, but they are much weaker. Strength 23, than the Machamps. So they're hitting for 23 and then 10 times 3 versus larger beings. Versus strength 31. So 31, 39, 31 again, right? The seismic toss still hurts. So mostly Machokes. And we can see that Scrutiny of Days and Procession of Pain. They cast Iron Skin, they cast Temper Flesh, and then we go in. So, you can see we are definitely hitting them. In fact, we're hitting the crap out of them. But because the majority of the hits are coming from the Machokes, and the blue belts actually matter too, right? Here's another thing, right? The Prodigy blue belts that make their way in there, they also are not as strong. So they're hitting for 21, 23 versus, let's see if we can find, here we go, here's one. Versus the black belts, right? They're hitting for not much more, but they're hitting for 22, 24, and here's kind of more of a thing, 26, right? So this one is enough to really kind of like make their way into that situation. And they're actually getting a couple hits off with this True Confusion. You can see they are fatiguing out, so that makes it pretty hard for them to fight back. And this guy in particular, this guy has crazy amount of HP because he has unequaled obesity. Love it. And he's regenning so much. So he's not dying. You may notice like his hit points are nowhere near dying. But he is just accumulating battle wounds. Just accumulating the crap out of afflictions. Now this guy is accumulating less afflictions. He's got a limp. But again, neither of them is really doing anything to me, but I can't kill them. I can't kill them partially because of that, them not doing anything to me thing. The issue being that them not killing the chaff, the weaker guys, means that the stronger guys can't get in, right? Which is pretty unfortunate. So what's going to happen is we're going to rout. And miraculously, we are still going to win. And we're going to win by a very, very random technicality. And that's that... actually, I'll save it as a surprise. You can see our forces start to rout, right? Most of our people do not rout based off of fucking Mankey, I choose you. Based off of like losses or anything like that. They rout because these guys have fear. So every once in a while, someone basically just loses a fear check, and that's how it is. So this is gonna come to a close in the near future, I promise. All right, the rout begins. And should be getting pretty close. Cyanwood City are routed. Everyone runs off the field except the Glaceons, who I have previously complained. It's funny. I'm losing. I'm gonna win this fight off of the back of these Glaceons, who should have cold resistance, and don't. I'm gonna win the fight off of the back of them because they are fatigued out. They can do nothing. But the problem is these Steelix champions are fatigued out as well, right? So the situation is the Steelix champions are becoming unfatigued. So he's like, okay, well that's not good. They're gonna just come forward and murder you, right? Except Olivine City is routed. because we hit the timer. And as we hit the timer, both armies are routed, and he unfatigues. Whereas these Glaceons, I don't think they can unfatigue at this point. Because they're just continuously chilling themselves, right? So it's funny, it's interesting that they haven't died yet, actually, is the thing. So we're gonna go ahead and skip this. Slowly but surely, Olivine's Steelix's, this one in particular, Procession of Pain. Oh, no, actually, I thought it was the other one. Oh, wow, he made it off quick. This guy went away crippled, muted, limp, weakened, battle fright, chest wound, and never healing wound. Thing is he's still strong enough to kick somebody's ass pretty easily. Even with these atrocious stats. And that should tell you something about the balancing of these Steelix champions, right? They're not geared out. They're not geared out. They basically just have a bless, and that bless is fire resistance, natural protection, and regeneration. The rest of it's kind of irrelevant, right? But just off of a fire resistance, hard skin, fire resistance, and regeneration, these guys are so incredibly strong that this guy, with all of these afflictions, is still going to kick somebody's ass without gear. So obviously, like, these guys are a little overtuned. A little being a bit of sarcasm there. But we lucked out, right? So most of our army did rout. However, it routed back into the fortification of Saffron City. So the vast majority of everything retreated safely and effectively. We didn't lose anything on the retreat, but some of them did go in weird directions. So that is something to keep in mind. So after Saffron City, we have a battle we see a battle in Violet City, where Olivine has finally conquered Violet City. Which it seems a little surprising. I'm not sure if Violet maybe Violet City vacated. They didn't have much after the previous battle, right? The big battle between I'm thinking of, so you guys haven't seen it. There was a massive battle between Olivine City and Violet City. Violet City shared a screenshot of the battle report with everyone. Violet City is the mod creator, Onard. Or Onard, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But they won, right? They won the battle, but they lost almost everything. They lost, like, out of 400-ish units, they lost like 395, right? And it was against like four or six Steelix champions and a handful of other things. They killed most of the other things, but they only killed like one or two of the Steelix champions. I think it was 4, and they Soul Slade spammed, or tried to Soul Slay spam, and they got like 1 immediately, and then just couldn't get the other 3. They got a bunch of like paralysis off and everything like that, but just couldn't do the damage. Needed like some sharpness weapons, you know? So there's that. And then unexpected event in Viridian City. We found a handful of magic gems. Nice. We had another battle girl get caught in Olivine City. So we are going to try to we're gonna try to gear up some individuals, some battle girls, with some stealth gear to go bomb Olivine City. We're gonna see how that works. And what else do we got? We've got construction complete, afflictions cured, units cured, got a bunch of promotions. Okay, so 50,000 things going on, right? Always 50,000 things going on. Actually, I think I'm gonna hold for just a second. We've got so many of these that are, so we know that this is a problem now. We understand and know that this is a problem, right? That the Machokes aren't gonna do enough damage to kill things, to kill the Steelixes, but the Machamps will. So now we've got to get the Machamps up. So actually, I'm absolutely gonna alter this real quick. I didn't think about this as an option, but I'm gonna go to school. So I'm gonna have Chuck do a turn where he just trains here in Saffron City, because that's gonna get us another good chunk. I think 5 or 6 individuals, black belts, basically. So what we want to do is we want to get as many black belts as we can in this force as quickly as possible. So Chuck will go to school for a turn, and Robodan is gonna go kick some ass because Robodan's force is all ready to do things. So we're gonna move forward and try to just slaughter whatever we can find. If we can get, and this depends on whether or not again, these motherfuckers are also stealthy. How is a Steelix stealthy? They should not be stealthy. I'm gonna throw that out there. They absolutely should not be stealthy. So we're gonna attack in Silver Grove. If we catch anything, I think Robodan can kill it. If not, that's fine. You might have noticed 2 changes that we're making to both Robodan and to Chuck, and that is that they're now on advance and cast spells. Because I honestly think that if Chuck had moved forward in that battle and started casting some other spells like Strength of Giants or something like that, spells that mages do enjoy casting if they are close enough, then I think that might have been a different thing. Like, we had the time to kill them. We just needed a little bit more oomph. And there are multiple things that Chuck could have done to give that to us. And same thing for, like, Robodan. Robodan is going to be a Earth 3, right? When he goes into after Earth Power. So he's going to be on advanced and cast spells. And if he does, I mean, less of an issue for him because he has the black belts. But still, putting like Strength of Giants, or what else can he cast? Let's take a look. So he's got stuff like this, like hit Machop, I Choose You, and he might end up spamming a whole lot of that, so we'll see. That's less good, but he can do other things, like he could spam out Earth Meld, which is never going to work. I don't even know why I said that. Really, I think it's actually just Strength of Giants is the only thing that really he can do. There's other stuff later. We'll get there. It's we'll see how it works, right? Okay, so Kathleen, we are moving away from Saffron City because I don't know that we're going to be able to hold this area for an extended period of time. So we're going to try to get her out, probably try to get her down to Impassable Mountains or something like that, and then get maybe like a Thistle Mace in her hands and have her start casting Haro Specs repeatedly. That's probably the game plan there. So that's what's happening in Saffron City area. Elsewhere, abroad, right, basically in Olavine's territory, we are uprising the shit out of his lands. Like, holy crap. And we're moving even more in to do so, and in Kunal, we are producing more. These 2, though, are going to come with Cat's Eye amulets. So we're going to boost their stealth from 70, right, up to 90. And we're gonna see how that works, basically. So fingers crossed. I think 90 is gonna not quite be enough. I think there's a handful of other stealth items that we could be using right now, but we're not, and we're probably not going to because it's more of an investment. But we're going to try this, and we're probably going to take both of these directly onto Olivine City and try instilling uprisings with both of them. And we're going to see how that goes. We're also instilling an uprising in Violet City now that Olivine controls that, because why not? So also in Kunal, we are casting some arcane probings. We're you might see we are very low on astral pearls, so we're gonna do some arcane probing castings. Hopefully, we have a nice astral income, but hopefully these castings are gonna net us a couple of additional astral pearls. Hopefully in the range of, if we can get up to 10 plus, that would be nice. And then after that, once we get Stellar Focus online, we'll be at 15-ish, which would be really nice, right? That's kind of the goal. Okay, you might also notice that we are moving Nan Bagor, and we're moving someone else from Cyanwood. He's got some Steelix champions right here. And I think it very likely, he might just focus on Violet City for now, but I think it very likely he moves into my territory and starts to harass me. We are putting together a flimsy at best resistance force. I do not think it is going to matter, and this is very much an issue. He has so many Steelix champions. He's got 2 here. He's got 2 here. He's got 2 here. He's got another 1 here. And every single one of these things is an army-destroying nightmare, unless it's a very specific army, and that very specific army is like my black belts, right? So that's an issue, right? That is very, very much an issue. So we're gonna try to resist him. If he moves in, we're gonna try to resist him, because we're trying to protect this this province, because it's got the schoolgirls, and we really want to get more of those. So we're gonna try to protect it, and we're protecting it by moving Nan Bagor in with these Arcanines. Now, this is probably not going to make the difference, but Flamethrower is a fire damage attack. It is armor piercing, and it has a whole bunch of ammunition, 25 ammunition, right? And if we look at one of these real quick, their Bless, I said it earlier, is fire resistance, but they normally have a -5 penalty, just like their cold, right? They normally have a -5 penalty, which actually leaves them at kind of low fire resistance, truth be told. So a 12 damage flamethrower will hurt them, especially with the roll, basically. I don't know that it hurts them enough. In a large quantity, I can see it hurting them enough, right? If there were like 40 of them. So that's why we're kind of doubling up. So we're moving a small party of Arcanines in, right? And we have this small group of Vaporeons already. So they're going to be doing cold damage. And we are actually moving Fly Priest and the first squad of Shield Alakazams in. So these guys have Psychic, they have Psybeam, right? Both of these, they are magic resist negates, which is going to be a fair number of the fucking time, because their magic resistance is also too... everything about the Steelix is too goddamn strong, right? But with this, right, this is going to be 15 Shield Alakazams, 5 Arcanines, 5 Vaporeons, and my hope, and this is probably an unrealistic hope, right? My hope is that enough concentrated fire might actually be able to take down one of the Steelixes. Now, if he comes at me with both Steelixes, guaranteed fucked. Like, I don't think there's any chance at all. I don't think there's much of a chance currently, but we're gonna see. We're gonna try to see how it works. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on in the Kunal section. We're getting some more Battle Girl rubies, casting some gnome lore, moving some people around, casting some arcane probing, and seeing if we can't defend Three Pine Grove. Okay? So down in Viridian City, we have a couple of things going on. We're still continuing to do our preaching, still doing all our normal stuff, right? But we've got something else. We have done a little bit of pulling things apart. I've been doing some planning, right, on what can I do with the parts and pieces here. And I kind of figured out some of the stuff that I can do, some of the stuff that I can't do, some of the units that I want to keep, some of the units that aren't worth keeping, some of the units that are worth keeping but not as combatants. So that's what we have up here. We have Ekis, who is moving with basically units that are going to be patrollers. They're very cheap upkeep, right? We really don't have to worry about them too terribly much. And things like the Furrets are actually really good at patrolling. They're just units that aren't hurting me necessarily. They're not, so I'm gonna go put them on patrol duty, and then they can help me. So they're getting sent out to Wiggly Up. Okay. You might have noticed though, we also have these units that are set apart, and these units are actually hurting us. Oops, sorry about that. So these units are based off of the Team Rocket Commander, right? This is again, this isn't supposed to be happening, but these units have incorrectly evolved into this commander, but they're units, okay? So they are actually causing us 4 unrest per turn. They also give us 40 resource bonus, but we don't give a shit about that. So we need to get rid of them. We're probably going to suicide them into Curtain Wall. So we're actually getting a black belt for multiple purposes, but we're also getting a Crush Girl. We're gonna probably send them down with the black belt next turn after that into Curtain Wall, and probably have them way out in the front, and then have the black belt in the back, and probably have him hold a turn or two and then retreat. And hopefully that gets them killed, basically. So we'll see how that goes. And the other units, we basically come up with the idea where we're putting together a poison army. It's gonna take some doing. Basically, this is probably what this Crush Girl is gonna do. We're probably gonna put a poison resist ring on her, so that she's just basically immune to poison. And then we might come up with a couple of other options, but realistically, what we're going to do is we're going to try to put this all together, and then we'll have a big army that we send out for, I don't know, shits and giggles. Some of these things are actually pretty good, right? It's just the opponent that we're facing is a monster. Poison does nothing to the Steelixes. Lightning does nothing to the Steelixes. Maybe this is something that we use against the Throne here and here. Maybe this will be something that we use against Vermilion City. I don't know. Maybe this is something we go all the way over to Ekrutik with. Maybe this is something that we start invading sections of Violet City with, right? It's entirely possible that pretty soon Violet goes, hey, snag the places near you. I don't know, though. Violet was so big, and realistically, if we look at their score graph, province-wise, they're still pretty big. They're still bigger than I am. So, I am all of this. They have lost their cap. They've lost all of this, but they're still bigger than me. So they're still like this. That's still them, basically. So they might be down, but they're not quite out yet. Anyways, that's kind of what's happening over in Viridian City. So we're working on what's going on there. Just kind of coming up with ideas, basically. So, what else are we doing? We've got site searching going on in different locations. We have actually stopped recruitment of the Grunt Acolytes. I'm enjoying what they're doing. This is good so far. I like the free province defense. And we're going to continue using them for that, but we're going to use it in probably targeted locations. Basically, the issue is we can look at this in the score graphs, and we were already aware of this, but we have to be, we can see our Dominion has begun to dip. We got to be careful of using too many of these because they are heretics, right? So we want to use them for their effect, their defense organizer, right? But they do cause unrest, and they are heretics. So we gotta watch out for that. So we're gonna cancel recruitment of them for now. We might actually pick that back up here in a little bit if we can get a couple of. The plan is to get some more nurses here in a little bit and get them out into a couple of different locations and start preaching. And once that happens, then the preaching is going to kind of actively fight against. Also, I need to get temples here and here and here, but I need to control the land first, right? So once that happens, I think we're going to be able to turn this back on. But for now, we're going to lay off of that recruit. We are moving people all over the place, right? So we're moving Fly Priest. We're moving Helmet out towards Viridian City. We have built up Cyanwood City as much as we can. Unfortunately, he can only go up one level, so we are now at a administration bonus of 45, which is pretty cool. You may have noticed our income jumped up another good 40 or so, so that's pretty nice. So Helmet's going to go over, and he's going to see if he can't make it to Viridian City and start building up there. Unfortunately, this was not enough to give us 3 commander points. I thought it was going to reach Citadel status, but these are apparently very minor basic fortifications. So, but that being said, we've gone from wall integrity 250, which is what we were in Cyanwood, to 500. So, I mean, that's pretty nice comparatively. So if we can get Helmet to do Viridian City and then eventually, hopefully, Saffron City, maybe we even sneak Violet City. I don't know. I don't know that I can actually beat Olivine. I know I can in theory, in a best case scenario, I feel like my best case beats his best case. But I've got like 1 and I'm getting close to 2 of my best cases. He's got like 20 of his best cases. So I just don't know that I can match him in all the different locations. We got to figure out a way to get through to him. And one of those ways might be through some items, basically. So this brings us to what else we are doing in Cyanwood City. We're doing all of our normal stuff, right? We're doing all of this, which, by the way, I've been looking through these, and I'm coming up with ideas on putting together units, military units for this stuff as well. I mean, you've already seen us putting together the Shield Alakazam unit, right? So that'll be cool. But aside from units, we are forging a Ring of Sorcery. So this is where the vast majority of our Astral Pearls are going. It's going to take a lot, right? But once we are done with that, we will be at Astral 7. Astral 7 gets us Rings of Wizardry, which is going to allow us to open up access to a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But that is kind of where we cap out. That being said, we are going to have, in just a few turns, 3 turns actually, we are going to have access to Stellar Focus. So we're going to put up Stellar Focus, and hopefully that'll stay up for a little while. Hopefully along with some Arcane Probing, we're going to have a decent little Astral Pearl income. Okay? And with that income, more than likely, what we are going to do, and I'll just show you, is we're going to make probably a bunch of Eyes of the Void, basically. Eyes of the Void and Spell Focus, right, are very cheap for us to make. Again, we can't make these for single digit stuff, but if we have an income of like, say, 15 Astral Pearls, and we've got a couple hammers in the right hands, then these are we can make several of these very, very quickly, right? And with 3 penetration, suddenly, now don't get me wrong, it's not an easy win, right? But with 3 penetration, suddenly the magic resistance of 21 is a little bit more doable, right? Now that being said, our closest option to then exploiting that would be the schoolgirls and doing Soulslay communions. But if we can't control 3 Pine Grove, then that's just not going to happen. There is the chance that now that Violet City has kind of lost up here, we might have to bring Chuck over just to try to hold this eastern front. We've got Yazar currently heading out to basically cap the throne, because his units need a significantly longer amount of time before they are ready to go. We've basically come to the point to where we can't send out an army with them just being Machokes. We have to have them, they have to be able to kill the Steelixes. And that's not going to happen right now. Next turn, and probably the next several turns, right now we're just, again, we're doing Lightless Lanterns, we're doing a Cat Eye, etc. I still have that goal of wanting to try to hit close to 1,000 research. I don't think we're going to get it, but we're going to try to get as close as we can before or at turn 40, right? We have that goal. After we kind of hit that, we are probably going to start recruiting a situation where we probably put together like a bunch of black belts. These are probably going to be the ones that we're going to use. We might use battle girls. We already have so many battle girls, so what we might do is we might like fly them back. But the black belts are actually sacred. It doesn't matter. The point is what we're probably gonna do, right? Is we are probably going to get 5, 10, 15 guys, and we're probably going to put check real quick. We're probably gonna put great swords of sharpness on them. Okay. And again, this goes back to that scenario of this is armor piercing, combined with strength, etc. We are just looking for opportunities to do as much damage as we can. We have to have more ways. We have to have more ways of dealing with the Steelixes than just Robodan's army or Chuck's army or in 5 or 6 turns Yazar's army, right? Because he can still produce these, and each one of these can screw over a province. So we're gonna have to work on figuring out that scenario. So that's I'm potentially gonna actually put some time into playtesting some things. And trying to figure out what I can do. One of the options that I've kind of looked into is with our newfound gold, we can produce 3 Giraffarigs every turn here in Kunal. We can actually produce 1.5 Giraffarigs, kind of. Doesn't work that way, but you know what I'm saying. And there's also here in Impassable Mountains, right? We can do Giraffarigs as well. So we might turn to Giraffarigs because Giraffarigs kind of like the Kadabras, right? They have a very long range, very high precision, probably going to hit every single time. A magic attack that is going to ignore the armor, basically. And it's going to magic resist negates, of course, right? But it's to the point to where, like, if I have 40 or 50 of them, I might be able to... 40 or 50 of them. Jesus, that's so many. These things are expensive, right? I might be able to Zerg them down, basically. Like, I might have so many magical hits that are landing on them that we can pop them in 5 or 6 turns rather than the 20, 30 turns that it takes for a group of Machamps to deal with them. Another thing is we've done the Machamp summon. So this is indeed an upkeep cost 0 for the shiny Machamps. So there is a world where we go, okay, well shit, and we have to spam out as many of them as we can in just a few turns to produce basically another army to kind of ramp up our ability to deal with things. I hope that is not what we have to do, but if we got to do it, we got to do it. I think, right? I think our plan is going to be to turn to a combination of raiding, hopefully with Fly Priest, but that's not gonna. I know this. This is such an annoyance. Just realized I gotta do this. So I need him to kind of come forward just a little bit. This is the problem, right? Is that again, to top it all off, right? These Steelix champions are so strong, but to make matters worse, the guy has access to long-range remote assassinations that summon a scissor. And a scissor is no joke. Okay? So, I'm going to move Fly Priest out there, and even if things go well, or he doesn't attack, or he does attack and it goes well, if I move Fly Priest into his territory, he's legit just going to, like, hit me with 3 or 4 remote site search, remote attacks, remote assassinations, blah. And one of them is going to kill. One of them is going to kill. And then I'm going to have 15 freaking Alakazams stranded out in the middle of nowhere. So, anyways, I've been thinking this over for a while. There's a bunch of different things we're going to try to do. We're going to try to figure it out. I think at the end of the day, our research is probably going to be the thing that we can best leverage against the Steelixes. So that's why I want to focus on it so hard. Because if I can get up to 1,000 research, I can get answers. Not sure what those answers are, but when I figure them out, I can get to them immediately. For instance, we can single turn Soul Slay whenever we want it, right? We're not getting it right now because not really useful to us at the moment, but we can do it whenever we need to. So, alright, I think that is probably gonna be it for the turn. We've talked about most of the things that are going on realistically. All of the important things, right? We've got a bunch of little stuff here or there. Let me put this guy back in. No reason not to get him experience. I swear it's so hard to... I'm not... You guys can see it. He's highlighted. No. It hates me. The game hates me. Go away! Jesus, I just want to click on him. Now I can't even remember what I was clicking on him for. Alright. So, I think we are done for now. I will see you all next time. Oh, did we gloss over Impassable Mountains? Everything happening at Impassable Mountains is exactly our normal stuff. We're getting another researcher. We're getting more Mareeps. The Ampharos factory is continuing, right? You know, we've got a crap ton of income. I will say that. Jeez, if only I can figure out an answer to these Steelixes. Holy crap! If I can figure out an answer to these Steelixes, I am so set to actually do a really good job in this. Oh, we're gonna catch Ekrutik too. Absolutely, we're gonna catch Ekrutik. I'm set to do a really good job if I can just figure out how to deal with these Steelixes. Also, Atlantis has moved this very big mercenary army into... Well, I say moved. He moved an army onto Polegrave, and now he has hired a bunch of mercenaries there. So that's pretty interesting. Alright, I think that is it. I will see you all next time. Peace.